Hello everyone. Our topic for today is sensory discrimination and perception problems. First of all, we gotta take a look into proprioception problems. What is proprioception? Proprioception is the body awareness sense. It tells us where our body parts are without having to do. For example, this is my hand, this is feet, this is head. This helps to know where our body parts are relative to each other, which strengthens our coordination skills. It also tells us how much force to use when you're holding, pushing, or lifting objects. Without proprioception, we wouldn't be able to move without thinking our next step. For example, when you walk into a jungle and you see obstacle like stone, grass or something, your brain sends signal to you is to lift one foot ahead or to jump over them. The anatomy of proprioception. So proprioception results from sensory receptors in the nervous system and body. Most of the receptors are located in our muscle, joints and tendons. When we move, the receptors send detailed messages to our brain about our position and actions. Our brain processes these messages and works with your vision, nervous system, and vestibular system to create our perception of where our body is and how we are moving. What are characteristics of poor proprioception that we can see in children? First and foremost is they often appear clumsy, distracted, and awkward. Uncoordinated movements, such as finding it hard to walk straight, they may also tend to slouch themselves. Next, using too much or too little force in activities such as writing, clapping, or typing. Other than that, they have breathing issues which can lead to problems when they walk up or walk down the stairs. They also tend to fall when they walk across uneven surfaces. Next, they also seem to break toys, bumping into others, and misjudging personal space. So a proprioceptive issue can be hard to notice because it may present as a motor skill issue. So be sure to consult a specialist for accurate information. Many children thought to have proprioception problems seek firm pressure to their skin or joint compression. These sensation-seeking behaviors may be an attempt to gain additional feedback about body position, or they may reflect a concomitant hyporesponsiveness to tactile and proprioceptive sensations. Next, we're going to take a look at visual perception problems. What is visual perception? Visual perception is the ability to perceive our surroundings through the light that enters our eyes. Henderson, Pioski, and Murray point out that many relationships between visual spatial abilities and functions such as grab, balance, locomotion, construction, and cognition. So problems with visual perception are commonly seen in children with sensory integrity disorders (SID), particularly when poor tactile perception or DCD (developmental coordination disorder) is present. Therefore, visual processing can impact someone with autism. Some behaviors that can be soothing to help ASD better understand where their body is related to their surroundings to or other people. For example, they will do things like hand flapping, like this, staring at the ceiling fan while it spins, moving fingers in front of their eyes like this, or peering through their fingers. The most common thing is you will see that they start to lining up objects like this, either like this one, flicking lights on and off and blinking repetitively. These are all types of stimming behaviors that we can see in autism people. Next one is vestibular proprioceptive problems. Clinical signs related to this type of problem involve the motor functions that are outcomes of vestibular processing which are strongly influenced by the vestibular system. Regardless of the many problems that we can see, it is a non-severe dysfunction. These children often exhibit poor equilibrium reactions, lower than average muscle tone, poor postural stability, a tendency towards slouching, and difficulty in keeping their head upright. There are also inefficiency of the vestibular ocular pathways, which mean they may affect function in directing head and eye movement while moving. For example, when they watch sports on TV like soccer, they have problems to coordinate their head and eye when they see the ball rolling while the other player is kicking it. Next, impaired balance and equilibrium reactions. will affect competence in performing activities such as bicycle riding, roller skating, skiing, and playing games of course. Because again, these kind of activities or games or sport require lots of balancing. Next one is poor bilateral coordination, which means makes activities such as cutting with scissors, buttoning a shirt, or doing jumping jacks especially challenging because they need to know the use both of their hands, right and left. For example, if you want to cut paper with scissors, you need on her paper, one hand hold the scissors, one hand hold the paper, and only then you can cut. But if you want to cut shape, you need to rotate and twist the paper. Next is bilateral integration difficulty, which means the use of right and left body parts. So they have delays in body midline skill development such as hand preference, whether they want to use right or left, spontaneous crossing of the body midline, and right-left discrimination. Other than that, we can also see other risks from having this kind of problem, which means they may have problem with attention, organization of behavior, communication, and modulation of arousal. So in general, many children with this problem do not have a severe level of dysfunction. So the problem is easy to overlook by other people. Okay, next one, we're gonna take a look towards praxis problems. Praxis is the ability to conceptualize, plan and execute a non-habitual motor act. There are two terms that fall under this. First one is somatopraxis. Somatopraxis refers to the aspect of praxis that is sensory integrative in origin and grounded in somatosensory processing. Next one is somatodyspraxia. It refers to a sensory integrative deficit that involves poor praxis and impaired tactile and proprioceptive processing, aka a disorder in tactile discrimination and perception. Iris hypothesized that good tactile perception contributes to the development of an accurate and precise body scheme, which serves as a reservoir of knowledge to be drawn on in planning new actions. What are signs that can be seen under somatodyspraxia? The children always appear clumsy and awkward. They do perform motor activities, however, they find it very difficult and often result in failure. They also have difficulty accurately imitating actions of others, unintentional breakage of toys, for example, when the child forcefully push an object that should be pulled, and skills like self-help and dressing, they find it very excessively challenging. For example, when they want to put on a sweater, take on or take off pants, feeding themselves with utensils like fork and spoon, like how to forks, how to scoop with the spoon, writing alphabet because it requires like the right amount of force to write. Also things like jumping rope and even cognitive like completing a puzzle. Thus they may affect eating skills or speech articulation. Other than that, they also have problem with ideation. Now ideation means the idea itself. So when asked to simply play without being given specific directions, these children may not initiate any activity or they may initiate activity that seems normal to them in general or seems to lack a goal. So typical response may be like wander aimlessly, perform simple repetitive actions such as petting objects, lining objects, pen object with no plan or whatsoever, or more sophisticated one like they wait to observe others doing an activity first and then imitate them rather than they initiate the activity or thinking first. Okay, last one, you're gonna see what are the secondary problems related to sensory integrity difficulties. There are three indirect effects that can be seen. First one is frequently misinterpreted as behavioral or psychological issues. Okay, sensory integrative disorder (SID) can fluctuate in severity from one time to another within the same child. Moreover, the severity of this function and the ways in which this function is expressed is very tremendously from one individual to another. So it's very different from one between this child and that child. This variability makes it difficult to predict which situations cause problem for a particular child, how much discomfort result, and when this is likely to occur. Therefore, it is normal when the parents and teacher feel confused about the child. They assume like they just behavior issues. So as a result, the child may being punished or responded to inappropriately leads to chronic feelings of helplessness as the child has started to sense to develop a sense of I am a bad guy because the child is confused. He or she doesn't know that this is wrong and why why is it wrong to behave certain like that. The second effect is the gap between the child's sensory motor skill and the skill of this may grow, thus resulting lack of experience and diminished drive to participate in group play. Okay, for example, the child who avoids finger painting because of the tactile defensiveness. For example, the child doesn't like the surface of watery, can be watery for watercolor. Other things like sticky like glue on creamy or rough surface. Okay, so they are really do attempts other activities like jungle gym because this praxis misses more than this singular experiences. So in addition to interference with the development of sensory motor functions, interactions important to the development of communication and social skills also may not occur. Thus, some children with SID may lack the ability to play successfully with their peers. The third effect is undermining of self-esteem and self-confidence over time. Children with sensory integrative problems are often aware they are aware of their struggles with commonplace tasks. So it is natural for them to react with frustration. Chronic frustration can negatively affect and detract from the child's feeling of self-efficacy, which is very important for everyone in the world to feel like they have the sense of worth giving. Instead, the child may develop feeling of developedness. The child become less likely to attempt challenging activities because they know like they cannot do this, they cannot do that, they cannot do like what their peers are doing, so they feel very left behind. In terms of social, they want to get along, but as a result of their differences and their issues, this will impact their social life overall. That's all from me for now. Thank you all for listening and have a good day.